For today's do now, we're going to circle all of the equations below that are in proper standard form. I want to remember proper standard form is ax plus by equals c, where a, b, and c are integers, and a must be positive. So ax plus by equals c, 5x plus 3y equals 2. Yep, that's good. Negative 2x plus y equals 12. Nope, because we have that negative there. 3x minus y equals 4. Yeah, that's good. It's fine that the coefficient of y is -1. It's only the leading coefficient that must be positive. We got all integer coefficients. 8x plus 5y equals 3. No, because of that, not an integer. 0.5x minus 7y equals 1. Nope, not an integer. 6x plus 5y equals 24. Yep, good to go. Okay, and that's a good reminder for today as we're going to look at how do we take an equation that's in slope-intercept form and convert it to standard form and make sure that standard form is a proper standard form. Before we go into our lesson, I want to go over an idea. I believe I've shown it to you before with our equations, but if we just take an equation like 3 plus x equals 12, and we think about solving that equation, we know we subtract 3 from both sides and that x equals 9, right? So x equals 9. So I'm going to take that same equation, 3 plus x equals 12, but this time, instead of just going ahead and solving it, I'm going to take the entire equation and multiply it by 2. So we're sort of distributing that 2 to each and every term in the equation. So we're really doing 2 times 3 plus 2 times x equals 2 times 12. Really making the equation 6 plus 2x equals 24. And if we go ahead and we solve this equation, that we took that same original equation and multiplied everything by 2, right? So subtract 6 from both sides. We get 2x equals 18. Now divide by 2, and oh my gosh, x is still 9. So the point you want to realize there is that if we take an equation, multiply all of its terms by the same value, we are not changing the value of the unknown. We're not changing the value of the equation. We're just making it look a little different. And we're going to have to use this skill as we convert from slope-intercept form to proper standard form. On page 14, we're reminded again of what standard form is. We've got that ax plus by equals c, where a, b, and c are integers, and where a must be positive. Okay? We're given our equation starting out in slope-intercept form, and we are going to convert to standard form. So to do that, right, we've got y equals -2x plus 5. In standard form, our constant is isolated alone on the right side. So I'm going to add 2x to both sides to move that over to the left. And I'm going to reorder it because it's ax plus by equals c. I'm going to write 2x plus y equals 5. Now I just want to check, is it in proper standard form? Well, we've got integer coefficients, 2, 1, an integer constant, and a leading positive coefficient. So we are in proper standard form. We're good to go. Okay, let's try that again. Y equals 3x minus 2. Again, we want to isolate the constant on the right side, so I'll subtract 3x from both sides. Subtract 3x, that'll make this -3x, plus y equals -2. So we look, is it in proper standard form? No, it's not. So we want to identify what's the issue. We have a negative leading coefficient. This can't be negative, right? We've got that negative leading coefficient, and that's our problem. That's why it's not in proper standard form. So we have to deal with that. How do we take a negative number and make it a positive? Well, multiply by -1. So we're going to take the whole equation and multiply by -1. So essentially we're distributing to each term. When we do that, -1 times -3x is going to be +3x, -1 times y, -y, -1 times -2, +2. Now we're in proper standard form. We can box our answer. Okay. Let's look at our next equation. Y equals -1/2 x plus 4. I'm already nervous about that fraction. It's not an integer. So we'll start by adding 1/2 x to both sides. Makes our equation 1/2 x plus y equals 4. Now that's not in proper standard form because we've got that fraction there. Can't have a fraction. Our coefficients and constant need to be integers. So how do we eliminate that fraction? I've asked myself, what would I multiply to 1/2 so that it becomes an integer? So essentially I have to cancel out that denominator. To do that, I'm going to take the whole equation, multiply by 2. So I'm using the denominator. So we have that fraction. We're going to multiply by that denominator. Okay, and that gets essentially distributed to each term, right? 2 times 1/2 is going to be 1, so we get 1x. 2 times y, 2y. 2 times 4, 8. X plus 2y equals 8, and we're good to go. Okay. Y equals 2/3 x minus 5. We'll subtract 2/3 x from both sides. So we wind up with -2/3 x plus y equals -5. Now here we have two issues, right? We have that there's a negative and that there's a fraction. So we have to get rid of both of those. To get rid of the fraction, we'll multiply by what the denominator is. We'll multiply by 3. To negate it, to make it positive, we'll make it a -3. So we get negative times negative is a positive. So we're distributing the -3 to all three terms, and we'll multiply. -3 times -2/3, those 3's will cancel, and we'll have a positive 2x. If you're not sure, right, go off to the side. Think about what's happening in that multiplication, right? Our 3's cancel. It's really -1 times -2, which gives us a positive 2. -3 times y, -3y. -3 times -5, positive 15. And there we are in proper standard form. On page 15, you're going to do some more converting from slope-intercept to standard form, as well as some converting to standard form. I meant to say as well as converting some to slope-intercept. Today's math jokes for mathy folks. Why should you never talk to pi? Because it'll go on and on and on forever. Have a great day.